Alright. Hello and welcome to a new year. Welcome to the January 2026 COC board meeting. I believe we will have Dorsal signing on here shortly. He's having technical difficulties. So while we're doing that, if we could start with the land acknowledgement and the theory of change. Dr. Sam.
Yes, this is Dr. Sam, and I'm reading the land acknowledgement. It reads, the King County Continuum of Care Board acknowledges that we work on the unceded traditional lands of the Coast Salish people, especially the first people of Seattle, the Duwamish people, the original stewards of the land, past and present. We honor with gratitude the land itself and the Duwamish tribe. This acknowledgement only becomes meaningful when combined with accountable relationships and informed action, and is the first step in honoring the land that we today sit on and their peoples.
Thank you, Dr. Sam. And before I think I can read the theory of change. If we create a homelessness response system that centers people's lived experience of homelessness, then we will be able to respond to needs and eliminate inequities in order to end homelessness for all. And I believe I'll hand it over to Dorsal.
Great.
Unless you want me to continue on.
Sorry, I had a last minute update that took way too long. Have we done roll call?
Land acknowledgement and the theory of change. That's as far as we've gotten.
We have not done that.
We have not done roll call yet. I wanted to wait for you.
Wonderful. Well, again, sorry that I am late. And before we jump immediately into roll call, I also just want to acknowledge that one of our wonderful board members, Martha Sassarosi, is on a well-deserved break. And we have, I believe, with us Devin, and I apologize if I say this wrong, Conic Sessi, filling in for Martha. And so just want to say hello, and that's why you'll hear their name today when we do roll call. And welcome. And with that, Catherine, if you would please call the roll.
Dr. Sam.
Present.
Tamara Bauman.
Here.
Zsa Zsa Floyd.
Present.
Amaya Lenore.
Present.
Okay, thank you. Elizabeth Maupin.
Present.
Dorsal Plants.
Present.
Ruby Tuesday Romero.
Present.
Christina Sawicki.
Things are mute.
Here's.
No, you're good.
Well, I know Christina is here. And Victor Liu.
Here.
Amy Thomas. And Devin Conixis. Or Martha Sassarosi.
Yes, Devin Conixis here for Martha Sassarosi.
Thank you, Devin.
Good to see you, Devin.
Welcome.
See you. Thanks.
And we have 10 members present and 2 absent. You have met quorum.
Thank you very much, Catherine. And we'll go ahead and we'll get started on this busy, sunny, cold day. Motion would be in order to adopt the December meeting minutes. If someone would like to make that motion.
A motion that we accept the December meeting minutes.
I'll second that.
Motion by Zsa Zsa. Motion by Zsa Zsa, second.
Thank you, Doris. So I always forget to say my name.
It's a great reminder for all of us.
You want to say it again?
Yeah, I
helps
second that. This is Ruby.
Um, we have a motion on the floor to adopt the minutes. We'll do a quick voice vote. If you are approving the adoption of the minutes from the December meeting, please come off of mute and say yes or I right now.
Yes.
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 Aye.
If you are voting against the minutes, please come off mute and say no or nay. Hearing none, if you're wanting to abstain from the adoption of the minutes, now would be the time to say abstain. All right, the minutes have been adopted. Thank you very much. And I believe now we are on to the portion of where we open the floor up for public comment. First, Catherine, have we received any public comment in writing?
No, we have not.
All right. If you are either there in
This is
person or
Christina.
here,
I come with public comment and I tried to call you about it yesterday.
oh, I didn't see Miss Call. Sorry you weren't able to get a hold of me. If you are interested in making public comment and you are
No,
in the
that's
virtual
problem. I just
meeting,
wanted to let you know I did call.
okay.
I am.
I know. I want to make sure that everyone knows that they can put their hand up right now if they would like to make comment. And then Christina, if you'd like to go ahead and start off with public comment.
Okay. Yes, I was given this yesterday. King County Regional Homeless Authority has capped Community Roots Young Adult Chapter at 55 participants. I would like to present this to the COC board in hope of them doing something since KCRHA has not adequately responded. The cap at Community Roots Adult Shelter at 55 participants is despite the City of Seattle Fire Marshal approving the facility for 60 sleeping occupancy under the fire code. Community Roots is fully capable of safely serving 60 young people and doing so not violate fire code, not increase operational risk, and not require any additional funding from KCRHA. Despite this, KCRHA refuses to allow the program to utilize the additional 5 beds and has threatened Community Roots funding when the shelter exceeds the cap imposed by KCRHA. This restriction is arbitrary, unsupported by safety concerns, and disconnected from the realities facing unsheltered youth. Every night, young people because the shelter is considered full, even though 5 safe beds could be utilized. While 5 beds may seem insignificant on paper, for 5 young people turned away each night, this impact is profound. Exposure to cold, violence, and trauma that could have been prevented. Community Roots staff have repeatedly demonstrated their ability and willingness to support these additional youth without undue burden. The refusal to permit this modest, reasonable increase reflects a failure to collaborate in good faith with a proven provider. Compounding the issue, Community Roots regularly sends youth back into unsafe condition with limited supplies, including inadequate access to warm sleeping bags and cold weather gear, because there is no funding allocated for us for these essential supports. Staff actively seek alternative placements, yet there is consistently no available capacity elsewhere in our community. I am calling on the Continuum of Care and KCRHA, even though this isn't totally under the Continuum of Care preview. I'm calling on your help to immediately help us get the approval of the increase to 60 beds at Community Roots Young Adult Shelter. Cease threatening funding over this reasonable and safety compliant request. Invest in emergency supplies to protect youth who cannot be sheltered. and demonstrate a genuine commitment to protecting our unsheltered youth rather than enforcing arbitrary caps. KCRHA must do more. Youth homelessness demands flexibility, collaboration, and urgency, not bureaucratic barriers that leave young people in harm's way. So I am submitting this after being given this last night to our group.
Thank you, Christina. Is there anyone else who would like to raise their hand to make public comment?
Yeah. Courtney, you should be able to speak now.
Courtney Love?
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you. Courtney Love with the Lived Experience Coalition. I'm here to ask that the agenda item related to expansion of the board be tabled until a new and valid notice of funding opportunity is released with new and current standards, as the standards that this process is attempting to meet are the standards of a withdrawn and court challenged notice of funding opportunity. So, and also the composition of those recommended feels counterintuitive to the purpose of this board. And in 2024, in another COC space, because I engage in multiple COC spaces, that we had a HUD TA who, in discussion around the historic inclusion of law enforcement on the list of like 34 possible recommendations or ideas of who to include on your board, law enforcement was included on that list primarily to accommodate communities that were so small they had no outreach workers, and King County and the cities within it and the jurisdictions within it don't really fall into that size restriction. We have professional outreach workers in King County, and I suggest that you focus on the people who are doing the work and not the people who are enforcing the rules. Thank you.
Thank you, Courtney. I do want to flag that King County is a very diverse set of cities, and while some cities like Bellevue and Seattle are blessed with outreach workers, some of us do currently live in King County cities that do not actually have outreach staff at this time, and so just want to flag that. Is there any other public comments to be made? Any other hands up?
Michelle, you should be able to speak now.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello, my name is Michelle Eastman. I'm the Director of Communications for the Lived Experience Coalition. And I would like to say, while I recognize the board is not voting on an expansion also for the of the COC board today, proposed expansion, I would also urge you to table any plans to expand the board in accordance with the now withdrawn NOFO. It does not make sense to move forward given the court challenges. And as a COC member, I've noticed that the current plans to expand the COC include elected officials who are already represented on the governing board. This simply just does not make sense. The addition of law enforcement seats also seems contradictory to trauma-informed practices. And so I highly encourage you today to consider withdrawing this discussion until the new NOFO has moved forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. Last call for public comment for anyone who'd like to put their hand up. Okay, we will go ahead and we will close the formal public comment, but as always, the Q&A function is open and functioning, and we monitor it during the meeting. So if you have questions or thoughts, you're welcome to share them there. You're always also welcome to reach out to us by phone or by email. I believe we'll move forward now into the committee reports and updates. I did get one request, and I didn't get a chance to communicate this beforehand, but We will, after this meeting, as part of the meeting follow-up, we'll also send a list of the active committees and work groups and their next meeting. It's a new year. Calendars don't always carry over and switch over, so we'll make sure as part of this meeting to send out just what committees and work groups are active and like when their next, their first meeting of 2026 will be. But we will begin, I believe, with a system performance committee update.
I can provide that there was no meeting for the System Performance Committee last month. We didn't meet quorum for the in order to make the meeting move forward, unfortunately, but we plan to be meeting here in January on whatever the third Wednesday is going to be.
21st.
The 21st. Thank you so much, Catherine. The 21st, that is correct. The 21st from 2 to 4 p.m.
Wonderful, thank you. Do we have, I don't have the list in front of me.
The coordinated
Meeting entry?
Yeah.
Hi, this is Zsa Zsa Floyd, reporting on the coordinated entry updates. We had Tom doing an assessment of the new pilot that we're going to do. We also had, excuse me, as I rumble my papers. Goodness, I gotta have it in order. Forgive me. We also did a reviewing of the calendar and the timeline, and we talked about the objectives that we like to look at during the 2026 year. Back to you, Dorsal.
Wonderful, thank you. And I think the only other report left is the co-chair report.
That is correct. Yes, that's
Go
pretty
ahead,
good
Ruby.
memory for not having the agenda in front of you, I gotta say. So at the co-chairs planning meeting and between me and Dorsal, we've been discussing, about navigating the NOFO situation as we heard in public comment. There's been a, rescinding and then a this and then a that and all that sort of stuff. So we're gonna hear a little bit more about what's going on there later from Kelsey, who's hopefully got new information. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, then we've also been, talking about the board members coming on, and that discussion. And I hear the concerns from the public about, what those positions are. And I would say that it's not that it's responding to the NOFO at this point. I mean, we've kind of opened a public call for applications. And it feels like, if you open a public call for applications, you have to honor that in good faith. And so, technically, the positions are open to anybody. It's just there's the preference for those. And so, and that's because we stated that in a motion and, so it's kind of a weird situation there. We're going to talk a little bit more about that when we get to the actual. But that's just kind of what we've been talking about. And then we've been discussing reorienting ourselves for the new year, or not reorienting, but orienting ourselves for the new year. And yeah, what am I forgetting? I'm forgetting something. Oh yeah, we've been talking about the governing board members that are being onboarded as well, and hopefully being able to kind of get in there and do a COC 101 before they get started. We'll see how that goes. I feel pretty good about it. We have the presentation all ready to go. And I think there's murmurs of us going to the governing board again here pretty soon as well. Did I forget anything? I don't.
Retreat in March.
Oh, the retreat? Sorry, go ahead, Dorothy. Take her away.
I was gonna say you forgot anything. We're just doing a lot. So I did just want to flag that we are still planning the COC board retreat. And we have begun looking at kind of similar to like what Zsa Zsa shared with coordinated entry, beginning to prep to have a discussion in February and March about what the 2026 looks like for the entire board at the board level. So excited for those conversations. Back to you, Ruby.
Yeah, the only other update I say we got is that we're still on pause with our work groups and committee, or
The charter starts.
the charter starts when?
January 16th.
No.
No.
We're still on pause for those,
Oh.
yeah.
I saw a comment about the pit committee. We're actually going to receive a full update on the pit count at the end of this meeting. So we'll have the team here a little bit later. So just putting in a little appetizer for the future.
Yeah, thank you for that. But I think that's everything. I think we've covered everything.
I think that's all of the reports, and I will turn it over to Ruby for the next part.
Yes, so the next point of this meeting is gonna be the notice of funding opportunity update. As I was discussing earlier, we're gonna get an update from Kelsey and hopefully get a little bit more clarity on where we're at,
Thank you.
but no promises.
Good for that. Hello, everyone. Kelsey Beckmeyer, she, her pronouns, COC manager with KCRHA. I will pull up some slides to guide us through a few updates that we have. So I just want to anchor everybody a little bit in where we are right now. So a bit of a timeline. Back in mid-November, HUD initially released a 25 NOFO. It was subsequently withdrawn amid legal challenges from multiple entities on December 8th, just before an initial hearing. On December 19th, HUD reissued a revised NOFO for public review, noting that it couldn't be fully implemented without further court direction. On December 23rd, a federal judge did issue a preliminary injunction requiring HUD to process eligible renewals under the FY24, FY25 NOFO rules. They also requested of HUD an implementation plan that was sent to the court on December 30th. This implementation plan right now is under review. Notification to all COCs and grantees was to go out on January 6th around how to process renewals and possible reallocations. The motion on the 6th extended that notification date to January 8th to allow plaintiffs in the case time to review the materials that HUD had prepared. That is where we are at this moment in time. The implementation plan that is under review indicates that there would be anticipated award announcements May 26th. This is still to be determined around where that date will ultimately land, given that it is being questioned, yet that is so late in the year. The implementation plan also still indicates that projects would be subjected to threshold and risk reviews. And a note that the language in there when talking about the threshold and risk reviews talks about the NOFO, whereas the renewal process and other pieces talks about the FY24-25 COC NOFO. In my read, that's a significant switch, meaning that there may still be elements of the initially published NOFO that HUD is seeking to implement in its review of COCs for renewal projects. We are working and moving forward with the process that is outlined in the FY24-25 NOFO from 2024 around the renewal process for projects in 2025. This is just around how projects would be renewed or potentially reallocated. If deemed appropriate, the court could lift the preliminary injunction against HUD for things to move forward. Again, the scheduled renewals may be announced in May of 2026. This timeline still poses some risks to projects that are set to renew their periods of performance between February of 26 and May of 26. There may be some funding gaps and unknown questions if projects are indeed renewed. That's the biggest kind of risk and level of uncertainty. So right now, things as it relates to the NOFO renewal process related to new projects, reallocations, and renewals are currently on pause as we are awaiting further guidance about the process, how we are to renew things. So we are not seeking the applications from renewing projects or new projects as that is unknown. And we don't want to get too far down the pipeline where we need to change things or pivot. We are working to prepare, however, because we know things are coming. We know that there are changes coming, and we know that there will be certain viewpoints and policies that will be enacted, whether or not it's in a fiscal year 25 or a fiscal year 26 process. So we do need to be prepared. So currently, just refreshing on what was stated in that FY24, FY25 NOFO, to ensure that we are following the process that is detailed for the renewals. KCRHA also held 3 deep dive sessions to support potential new applicants. Those were virtual, recorded, and posted online, covering transitional housing, federal compliance and financial management and reporting, and then supportive services standalone projects. I've also developed an informational sheet on leveraging housing and healthcare, what that means, what are different ways and partnerships that can be considered leveraging. So that will also get posted and shared online. For the FY24, FY25 priority list, we are preparing database scoring for all renewing projects based on the FY24 schema for the performance period of April 1st, 2024 through March 31st, 2025. This is to prepare if we need to submit an updated priority list. It's not clear whether or not HUD will carry forward the priority list submitted in FY24 or seek a refreshed priority list. These scores will be developed primarily based upon, again, HMIS data. So we are working on getting that ready so we can kind of move quickly once we know more. The aim is really to have the lowest burden on providers as possible, knowing that this has been such a start-stop process. And it is late, very late in a typical NOFO cycle. So kind of making sure we have all of the ducks in a line so we can restart engines as quickly as we can and pivot so that we can be in compliance with the timelines that we are being provided. The implementation plan indicated that everything would be due to HUD in mid to late February. So also kind of moving with those potential timelines in mind. Want to pause and see if there are any questions?
So I think the only question I have is just to be clear about where we're at. Is it a pause? We're on an injunction or a stay or a pause or like what technically?
The court has issued a preliminary injunction, which has stayed the FY25 NOFO. And we have paused our local processes for the local competition. So
What does a stay mean, I guess?
a stay means like it needs to be removed and stopped.
Okay, thank you, appreciate it.
Yeah.
Okay, staying in the normal, I guess we could say.
Yes.
Or like in the previous, okay, thank you.
In conversations with other COCs, with the National Alliance on Ending Homelessness, the tea leaves are pretty clear about where things are moving for FY26. So while some of the processes that HUD went through for FY25 have been called into question and pushed back against, it is still foreseen that a lot of the policies and shifts and changes that HUD does have purview over may still be what we see in FY26. So while it's really the process that HUD took for all of this that has been called into question. So this is the piece that we are focused on and needing to be aware that while there are policies that are not in alignment with what we know to be best practice and clear evidence-based, measures, it is pretty well seen that that's gonna come in at least FY 26 if we don't see things embedded in what is published for FY 25 ultimately. But it's gonna continue to just be a back and forth, so we'll see how things unfold.
Yeah.
I see Tamara's hand up, and then I know Zsa Zsa.
Yeah, and I love the preparation. I love like pausing, but also kind of doing the back end work so that like we're not scrambling if and when we do have to pivot to the demands. But I also wanted to just remind ourselves, and I'm struggling with this, how to articulate this, because having navigated multiple systems, I'm seeing a lot of commonalities that impact the community. And so I just want to bring us back and remind us that all of this work is not about us. It's about the community and their well-being. And so while we do have to conform, I guess, to some stipulations from HUD, to like the providers, the funders, all of those people who are incredibly important to the homeless response ecosystem. But remember that we are led and guided by our values and priorities, and that we are all stewards of both the public services that we offer and provide to the community, but we're also responsible for healing-centered care. And this is something I've learned through like the past 2 years of self-reflection and, recovery, that we have to remember that no matter what the external forces that be, we have to be heart-centered and heart-led. And remember that the community dictates what we do as their representatives, not HUD necessarily. I mean, yes, they provide the structure, but like, remember who actually holds the power. It's the community, and that includes all of us. So just trying to root ourselves in love, because I want to start 2026 that way. So sorry to like get all preachy and mushy, but like that's just a reminder.
2026 start not with a bang.
Thank you, Tamara. Zsa Zsa.
Thanks, Tamara. I just wanted to go with what you were saying about the community, that we as a COC board, our primary focus should be folks who are surviving homelessness and experiencing homelessness. And when doing the NOFO process, to think about expanding the board or anything to do with the COC, our focus is for folks living outside, experiencing homelessness. That should be our forefront. And the reason why I say that is because I dressed and came here this morning. It was raining, it was cold. And what it brought back to my mind is I was formerly homeless at Camp Second Chance. And I remember being in a tent, and having to go to the bathroom, and how far I had to walk to get to the bathroom. And I was thinking about those today who don't even have that opportunity, who are not in an encampment, and who are trying to scurry around, trying to keep their possessions together and find basic needs met. So we as the COC board need to keep our minds focused on our community who are out there that we're here to serve. And in doing our NOFO, make sure that we are building our board for people who support just that kind of work. Thank you. And I forgot, my name is Zsa Zsa. I always forget.
Elizabeth?
Yes, this is Elizabeth Lopin. And I'm wondering, this has to happen in February, and we're just finishing up the point in time count in February. Do we the manpower to get right into the NOFO work?
Yeah. Yes, we have teams who are dedicated to those two different projects. And those are led by two different teams, so we have ensured that that is, we have that capacity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
I think one thing that I would state in all of this is as we navigate and continue forward, there are moves and changes and choices that may have to be made that are very hard choices. And there are other COCs and communities going through this same process, making these same decisions, and grappling with what are the impacts if we move forward with this, and what are impacts if we do not move forward with this. And for King County, that's $76 million. What will our community look like if we say no and we lose $76 million? And that is a really hard thing to think about. And that is what guides, as KCRHA, as the collaborative applicant, to make choices and recommendations for how we move. 67 million, pardon me.
Right,
was
67
correct.
million,
I
right.
invert my numbers sometimes.
Right, I was gonna say.
67.
She got
10 more million, yeah.
I said that correctly.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah. That's not an insignificant
No.
amount of money.
Mhm.
It serves a lot of people. And there are going to be things that we do to be as competitive as we can for $67 million. And there are ways that we can do that in a thoughtful, careful, trauma-informed way so that our community can continue to serve people to the best of our capacity, without losing millions of dollars. If it was less money, if it was a small pot of money, we might not have to make hard choices. Our state has a large deficit. It's a very challenging time. And we will navigate that as thoughtfully, as carefully, and as anchored in community as we can.
I think Elizabeth, I think Elizabeth and then you, sorry. Go ahead, Elizabeth.
I understand the need to follow enough rules to make sure that we don't lose funding. At the same time, are there ways we could be thinking about to make sure that, at least for the trauma-informed part and other things that are still allowed, we're making sure that the applications on paper actually match with what's happening at the individual projects. I'd really like to do more than just read applications, because my experience from being on a city application vetting group was that the papers don't tell you everything. So I just put that out there.
Thank you for that, Elizabeth.
Yeah, Kelsey, so I heard you say this is just about the process. It has nothing to do, they're not changing up the PSH.
Oh,
That doesn't change how, how they have all those rules and everything. Does that change? Could that change when coming back? I mean, is there an opportunity for change to happen in the content of, of the NOFO is what I'm wondering.
What I will say is HUD has purview over certain rules, certain policies. They can make policy choices, policy recommendations. There are processes by which they need to follow to do so that need to be followed. that is what is in question of whether or not HUD has taken those steps to follow those processes to make those policy choices.
Okay,
I can't predict the future.
right.
But I do think that there's room to maneuver whatever gets thrown at us. You know, I see a lot of opportunity in the supportive services aspect of it, so the supportive services only. You know, there's gonna be flexibility, but we won't know what it is until those barriers have been set. Go ahead, Dorsal.
Thanks.
I agree with everything that you were just saying, Ruby. And I just also want to add too, like you all are still the COC board, and the COC membership is still the COC membership. So like we have to find a balance, because the factual matter is that we people we love and care about will suffer, and not to be dramatic, die if we lose our federal funding.
Oh.
But everyone here at this table right now was selected because you have the heart, the skills, and the mind to center the people that we care about that are unhoused, our neighbors right now who don't have any other options. And so I just really want, as somebody who has a lot of societal privilege, like you have power still here. We have to do a dance. We have a really good dance partner in KCRHA. We're still figuring out how to do, the steps together. But like you are the COC board. Like you will still have the ability at this table to ensure that we are centering the voices of people with lived experience, and that we are ensuring that we are meeting and caring for human beings as human beings. And so I want to like reassure that we don't know what the future is going to hold, but you are the right people for that future, because you're asking these questions now. But also remember, you have that power and authority, and there will come a moment sometime this year or next where we will have to take a stand. And we just have to be prepared and thoughtful and be sure everything is ready when we're ready to take that. But you have the power. You're still the board.
Amen.
And I see that there's a possible, I'm thinking it might be Christina, but I'm not positive. How do you want?
If it's a member of the audience, if they could put in a Q&A,
Yeah.
and we can address it in the Q&A.
If it's a member of the audience, yeah, do that. And then if it's Christina, how, okay. The other thing I wanted to say is that there can be two truths, like in our existence as a board member and our existence as, post 4 p.m. on the first Wednesday of the month. And I feel like we can really lean into that side of us when we're not thinking about the, because as you may know, I tend to be a little bit more on the, I like to look into things, right? So let's put it that way, right? So I like to look into things, and I try to stay educated on what I'm opinionated on. And I'm allowed to have those opinions that might differ from what I would do as a board member. Those two people kind of have to exist right now, because that's the way it is, unfortunately, yeah, go ahead.
I'm gonna start with, my name is Zsa Zsa, because I always forget, okay? And I want to say that I was talking with a fellow board member, a couple of them, and one of them said something that resonated with me. And I want to share that it's very important for us as board members to resonate our essence of who we are. Just because we have a label, COC board, you need to come with your heart from within yourself, show your true essence, making those decisions based on what the work is for here for us to do, right? And I just really, that resonated with me. And I just truly want, that's how people collaborate and come together. We have KCRHA as our collaborative partners. We are the COC board. Let us use our essence of who we are as people to come together to figure out the solution to this problem.
Exactly.
That's all I gotta say. Thank you.
Yeah. And I agree with that, just gotta know the parameters first, right? Is there any
Thanks,
other?
Kelsey. That was beautiful presentation.
Was there any other slides? That's it?
That's it.
All right, scan the QR code.
They're used to say thank you. I don't know why it doesn't anymore.
It's okay.
Again, we might hear more from HUD tomorrow. And we'll provide a written update as soon as we can, with more information.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think this is part of, I want everybody to know this is part of the tactic, I think, for this particular administration. They're trying to, kind of disorient a lot of the, the country's best practices or what have you. I don't know. I'm not a lawyer, so I don't actually know. What are they supposed to say? Allegedly, that's what you're supposed to say. It's allegedly.
Right.
Anyway, so thank you for that update, Kelsey. You're doing a great job of like keeping your ear to the ground, obviously. I mean, I know it's your passion to do the NOFO, right? I'm just kidding. A little bit. I know you love it, and that's good. Then that's why we love you. That's
Right,
great.
yes, we got the right person in, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And so I know that you're paying a lot of like really close attention to it, and just thank you so much for doing that hard work. It's a lot. So we're actually like way ahead of schedule, it looks like. We could go into, should we just keep powering through? I don't, till the board recruitment conversation and then do a break? Or
Just right now.
we could break now. Okay,
I-
up to you guys.
I think we break now because we'll have to technically amend the agenda to
Oh, okay, fine.
not to be the bureaucrat of the group.
And that's why we love you. Okay, cool. So, then I guess we will come back in a short break. We're gonna do that. It's 2:46 by my clock, so I'll see you guys at 2:51. And we'll just have you come on camera so we know you're back. Thanks.
It is 2:51. And we're back.
And we're back. Dorsal, I believe you're the one taking us back in from break, correct?
Yeah. Welcome everybody. I hope you enjoyed your 5-minute break. Looks like we've got quorum back. So yes, we will move ahead. We are on to the COC board recruitment update. I'm going to structure it a little bit differently than I initially planned last week when I was putting material together, just to try and address some questions and things like that. But I also just want to kind of repeat what I was saying before the break. The COC board and the COC membership are the deciders. And so this recruitment process is going in front of COC board members and will go in front of COC members. And so if you are someone who is here or who have raised concerns about, the recruitment process, I sincerely, genuinely ask, to the point of begging, that you register as a COC member and you attend the virtual meeting where you will have an opportunity to hear from each virtual candidate. And you will be empowered to select the candidate by vote. And if there is no one at that convening that truly reflects the values of our community on our board, there is an option for that. You vote no. But it might just be hopeful New Year dorsal. But we have a batch of people who, during the holiday season with their family, during a natural disaster, a natural crisis, frankly, one of the worst ones I've seen since I've moved to King County, took the time to engage with the application, turn in the application. And so I do want to honor and acknowledge that we have a group of people who are interested in doing the work, and they were willing to sign on to do the work when we thought it was going to lead to a direct confrontation with a differing viewpoint, we will say, in a public meeting. So I want to uplift that piece. The other thing I want to say, just to reassure people, is this was an open recruitment process. Many of the people doing the outreach were the board members. I won't call them out by name, but if you were attending the co-chair meetings, there were COC board members dropping names, sharing applications, sending out emails, begging people to apply. And so there's not some hidden group of people who have selected these candidates. These candidates are the candidates that board members and COC members put forward as part of the process. And in fact, that does include the law enforcement category, because the law enforcement category is very broad. For most of us, our experience is with the uniformed police officer. And so when we think law enforcement, we think that. We remember the time that your friend got pulled over for going right in a no red area, and for some reason the cop literally punched you. That is a true story I experienced with my friend. That's where my head goes first. That's where my trauma goes first. But then I'm also attending meetings where COCs across the country are working with paralegals or are working with the parole officers or the individuals who are watching how the criminalization of homelessness is trapping people in a jail to street cycle. And they want to break it just as much as we want to break it. Those are the people that we want on this board. And that is why you as board members are empowered to review the applications via the selection committee and then to vote for new members in the membership. So just a quick kind of overview quickly of the process that was put in place in December. So in December, we opened up the recruitment process. And as Ruby identified, anyone could apply. But there are areas that were identified even before this current NOFO that aren't represented currently on the board. I am proud to say that we have an almost 100% representation of lived experience on the board. Every board member except for one, as I understand it, identifies as having lived or living experience. That's a great representation, but that does mean all of these new candidates could have lived and living experience as well. If you believe, like I do, that homelessness is something that impacts all human beings across all backgrounds, then that means those of us who manage to escape homelessness could be mixed in with law enforcement. We could be mixed in with any number of categories. I'm proud to say that our county executive has lived experience, whether he would phrase it that way or not. I don't want to put words in his mouth, but he talked about his lived experience. So I just want to reassure everyone that this is the open process that we put in place in December. We've put out a call for applications. Now, we did make a decision to extend it. Initially, we were going to have all applications in by December 30th. But for those of you who weren't swimming or looking for a raft, some of us were underwater at that time. And so we did extend the time to allow for, because again, the people we want on the board aren't the ones sitting on their couch when there's a natural disaster. They're the ones out there in their community doing the work. They don't have time to fill out a PDF form because they're helping people. That's who we want. That's who we need. So we needed to extend a little bit. The selection committee is still in place. The selection committee is made up of some Gold Star COC board members. We've got Victor, we've got Zsa Zsa, we've got Tamara, we've got Christina. We have a great selection committee that's going to be reviewing these applications. No one has seen them yet because we've extended, that process because we wanted to give people time. We'll review the applications. The plan is still to move forward with a virtual meeting in which the COC members will have an opportunity to hear from every candidate that applied. And from that, they will have the opportunity to vote to put COC members on. The one last piece that I will throw out there too, because I think in some ways this is a smart kind of step to take. We have strong commitment from the KCRHA staff supporting us, Kelsey and Catherine, that later in the year, we will then reopen the board process again. So we're opening up the board process. Like we've opened up the board process now. We're going to bring on a batch of people. We're going to get to know them. We're like Zsa Zsa said, we're going to get to experience their essence in person, not just in an interview, not just a one-on-one, but we're going to spend some time together at the retreat. And then come summer, I don't want to commit too heavily to a time frame. Sorry, Catherine. 2026, we're going to open up for recruitment again. And so that will be another opportunity for you, the board, and for the COC members to say, we maybe drifted too far in one direction or another when it came to representation on the board. So let's correct that. And so I personally believe that this is, in my experience, the most transparent we have been in bringing new board members on. And it's creating a precedent and a process by which we will continue to bring additional board members on to ensure that we have representations in a wide range of groups, but that we are still centering the voices of the unhoused that we are here to take care of. And so that is, Tamara, I see you have your hand up.
Oh, wait, can I,
Thank
I'm
you.
sorry, can I add something? Or no, go ahead, Tamara. Never mind. I'll do it next. Go ahead.
Oh, it's okay. I just wanted to just again remind us, like, not to, and I'm like the last person I thought that would ever say something like this. Like, let's try not to like jump to conclusions or make assumptions, because if you've gone through any of the full frame initiatives, well-being, like boot camps and things, they're going to tell you don't start off with assumptions because you may not know who your allies are. You may not know who's like actually infiltrating your community. So like, don't make assumptions, and until you build up a relationship and have a solid like community that where you have common like community agreements and you have invested in each other as much as you have invested in like serving people. And so just thinking about like, again, I'm being really woo-woo right now, but I'm just committing to being totally authentic and like letting everyone know, like, start with your heart and then
Mhm.
and then follow with your brain, I guess. But yeah, remember that we can trust each other. We have to, because the systems that we operate within and we're all kind of complicit in, they want us to like not think about things like that. They want us to stay distracted. And I would encourage us to challenge that, and but
Mhm.
also accept the reality that there are things. I've got the serenity prayer like literally right in front of my face. There are things that we cannot change. And we have to
Mhm.
accept that, but we have to have the courage to do the things that we can. And I still am struggling with the wisdom to know the difference. Seriously though, like have some kind of mantra and to inspire you, because we can't be fighting each other. We have to like build each other up.
Right,
Yes.
exactly.
No, thank you, Tamara. That's exactly kind of what I was gonna lean into, and that serenity prayer shows up so often. I feel like that is the new motto, or the continued motto, I guess. But anyway, I just wanted to share that, personal experience with law enforcement aspects. There is community service officers that are doing the work with people experiencing homelessness regularly. I've been able to build a relationship with one that's in West Seattle pretty frequently. And that's helpful because now we're seeing more conversation rather than arrests. There's more like ability to get a flexibility for some specific aspects of living in a shelter that might be across the street from a school, right? There's going to be components there that you have to interact because they're going to be interacting. If I have a rapport with somebody on the team, they're going to have a better rapport with me and give me more, information to help me navigate a situation, and hopefully support people that are unfortunately faced with that on a regular basis. But I think that it's important to make sure that we're including everybody, and law enforcement is a part of that. They're a part of the system, right? So we need to exactly embrace it. And the last thing I wanted to say is the charter portion. That was something that we really did talk about having done before doing recruitment. And I wanted to acknowledge that we did actually have that as our stipulation because of the NOFO and how rapidly it was released and everything like that. It got it a little finicky, and we just have to resume the charter work group as soon as we can. And as soon as we're able to, we will get that done.
My name is Zsa Zsa. I should know this, but I don't. And so I have a two-part question. The first question is, how many seats are available to be filled?
We have 12,
And
right?
We have 11.
we have 11 seats that are open,
No, we have 11 board members currently.
right? And so
And
how
we
many?
can go up to 19.
We can go up to 19, so that's 8. Okay, and then my second part to this is that labels are what the world uses to describe things. I try to, I am a relational person, and I hope the board is also, because that's what builds power, right? And so don't be fooled by a label. Get to know the person. And through that selection process that I sit on with Tamara and Dorsal, and Victor and Christina, we will look at the application and look past, we don't even want to see the name, right? We want to see what their makeup is, right? And from that, we can make better decisions. Because I don't want to be fooled because somebody's name triggers something, right? Kind of thing, or if it's a he or a she, who cares, right? We care about what they can bring to the table and how they can better help us be the best COC that King County's ever seen, right? Because wherever I go, it's royalty. And I want the world to know that King County COC is gonna be that, right? And we're gonna walk in that, and we're gonna work together, and that's gonna be the collective and the most powerful board to get things done. So as Kelsey said, $67 million won't walk away. They'll be trying to stuff it down our throats.
I like that. That's a great mentality. Dorsal, I did want to make sure that we're being specific about, we do need to ask, right, technically for, yeah, okay, just making sure.
So one of the things that we had thought about, and want to structure this carefully, because we are trying to keep things on a timeline, but with some of the thought and the confusion, we did have a thought that we would send out one more kind of call for applications after the meeting today. We would not be changing the selection committee meeting timeframes or anything else like that. It's just basically a final call, like you've shooken off the holiday season. Hopefully you've dried out your house. But because we have set this process in place, we didn't want to do that without bringing it to the board first. But we believe if we open it up, that there might be one or two people that board members have been talking to that would be able to submit an application. And so,
So you want me to motion? This is Zsa Zsa.
Oh, wait, I see Victor's hand really quick. Victor, go ahead.
I just have a process question, right? Because I have been very involved in this discussion. I just wanted to know that I already know that we're gonna try to make an motion, take a vote today. What I'm unclear is that, yes, we're gonna open the application because just in transparency that we haven't received enough elected officials applicants, which is why, but we're opening it up for all, for the business owner as well as the law enforcement individual. But what is the deadline? Because we already extended it, right? So before we even make a motion, I would like to know what is the deadline.
And I do want to also just confirm we have received elected official applications for review. So we do have elected officials.
We do, but not enough yet. Two so far. We need 3.
Yeah. So Catherine, when does the selection committee meet?
I don't think that we
We
have,
haven't
we
decided.
haven't scheduled the meeting yet.
No, we'll get that done shortly. And a few things have been balanced and been juggled, so we'll get those sent out to the selection committee shortly.
Okay, because I would say that would probably be the determinant, wouldn't it? Is we have a meeting on X day, so you need somebody days before X to consolidate the materials for us. And so that Y date could be the new deadline. Zsa Zsa, I see you have your hand up.
Yeah, so when opening this, do we have seats that are specified for like funders, philanthropy? You know what I'm saying? And I guess Victor already said, did Victor say what is the deadline for the application?
The deadline was January.
The 16th. The 16th is what we're gonna do. Yeah.
Okay,
If that works for everybody, I think that's enough time, a week and a half from today. Before Martin Luther King Day, to indicate memory.
okay.
So
Thank you.
Yeah, I do want to address one question that's come up because I've seen a couple of people ask about the elected officials. So elected officials is a very broad term. One example I would give is school districts. And the school district does not have any representation on the KCRHA governing board. So there are elements of elected office that tie directly into the COC work that do not currently have any connection or any pathway to our work. Additionally, if you're serving on the governing board, you are representing your city versus if you were a board member, you would be representing yourself as an individual and your own ethics and values. But I just want to flag that elected official is very broad and the governing board is only made up of a specific elected official from the cities and from the county.
So I think it would be that we do need to seek a motion to extend it until the 16th of January.
This
Zsa Zsa?
is Zsa Zsa. I would like to have a motion that we extend the application deadline to January 16th, 2026.
Is there a second?
Yeah, I'll second.
Was that Tamara?
Yeah.
We have a motion by Zsa Zsa, a second by Tamara. Let's do a roll call vote with this one, if you're okay with that,
Yes.
Catherine.
Yeah. Dr. Sam,
Agree.
Tamara Bauman,
Agree.
Zsa Zsa Floyd,
Yes.
Amaya Lenore,
Yes.
Elizabeth Mopin,
Yes.
Dorsal Plants,
Yes.
Ruby Tuesday Romero,
Yes.
Christina Sawicki,
She put approve in the Q&A.
she did, thank you. Victor Liu,
Yes.
that's 9 yeses, motion passes.
Okay. Oh, that's great. And if anybody's, attendees today, still got some time. Now I think we're gonna go into, if we've got correct person on the call, the point in time presentation, and thanks for keeping us on time. That was great. But do we have, is it Ewan?
Daniel?
Right?
It's Daniel
Oh.
and Ewan.
Daniel.
I don't see Daniel. Let me go see if Ewan's.
Well, we've got a couple minutes on that, so while we're doing that, we'll just give a brief, point in time, I'm excited to be participating in the point in time count this
Me too.
year. I know, yeah, you've done it a few
Yeah.
years in a row, we love
Yeah.
that. And this is my first time actually doing it, and it's in the Southwest area, and I'm excited about that. Yeah.
I'm in South King County and West Seattle.
Hey, well, we'll be
I
working
love
together, I
that.
love that.
Yeah.
So.
I like about the point in time count, I like the fact that they have so many hubs.
Mhm.
And I feel like since I've been doing it for a while here, that the outreach, because of the hubs in the different areas, that we'll get a better representation of what's out there,
Definitely, yeah.
right? And
I-
I'm so excited. I can't wait.
I'm excited for the mobile van and the idea that that mobile hub location.
Right, that's new, right?
Yeah.
Cause it's like on the ground outreach, so we're covering all the areas, right? We're being stationary for people to come to us. We're being out there for people to come to us. And I'm excited because I get to meet people,
Mm-hmm.
right? And hear their stories, and it's a chance to just connect, right? And share resources. And the COC board, right? Membership, right? And other things, right? So
Yeah.
that they can feel like, when they leave me, I want them to feel like they're leaving happy, right? With an outlook on the future that is a positive one, right? And that they are their most magnificent self as they journey out from where we are, and know that we will always be a resource for them. That's what I want them to know, right? And I want KCRHA to be that, a resource, a hub where we embrace people. Anyway.
22 Pitt is where we met.
Yeah, 2022, yeah.
Look at that.
And look how the pit has changed, right? Expanded, conveyed, get better, right? All the research she did and all the pulling parts. I mean, can you imagine?
Yeah.
It's gonna be
This
amazing.
could be, the only touch that some people get at the
Exactly.
system, so,
And there's with
or the first touch.
with the current administration and the shifts and the changes, there's more people out there from all walks of life. I'm sad to say that there's families.
Mm.
And when there's families, I'm a great grandma. grandma, great grandma, mama, sister, cousin, all that. And when I see that out, when I see the babies, that's breaks my heart, right? Because there should always be a place for a child, always.
Should always be a place for everybody.
Exactly, right?
Okay.
Thank you, Dorsal. You're so right, right? Right, and I want to share that homelessness is not a good thing, because over the vacation, my daughter's best friend died in a van because he was cold. And his friend gave him a propane heater. I mean, I don't know what kind of heater it was. It was a heater, and he went to sleep and he didn't wake up. And it was carbon monoxide poisoning.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it's like senseless.
Yeah.
Right? So, yeah, I don't want that. I don't want someone to have to stay warm, or well, if they're gonna be warm, they're gonna die, right? I mean, come on now, really?
No.
Yeah.
We're the most technologically advanced civilization that we are aware of existing on this planet, and we still have people freezing to death. And that will be one of the greatest shames of our civilization, I believe, in 100 years when our children look back.
Yeah, and just to highlight, while we're waiting for the presenters to come online, because they are coming online.
Yoon and Ben are
They're
actually
gonna be
in
in
the
person.
office.
Oh,
So
great.
they'll come.
Oh, you and.
Oh, exciting. So we'll have some people in the office here in just a second, or I mean, in the room here in just a second. But just wanted to hold space for those floods. You know, you brought it up a couple of times, Dorsal. And, you know, it was a really unique experience for me to kind of see that play out in an area that I was homeless in. And, you know, just trying to really ground ourselves in like, how do you get through that moment? You know what I mean?
Right,
And like
exactly.
really, how is it possible to get through that moment? Right? So, yeah, just holding space for that is difficult. So we're gonna, even and, oh, there's Daniel.
Daniel's here. Great.
I think there were some similar technical Zoom challenges.
That's okay. We were a little ahead of schedule anyway, so it's good to make sure that we were not ahead of schedule anyway. Daniel, if,
Oh, I'm gonna.
oh, we're gonna bring him into the conversation.
Everybody.
Should be able to talk now?
Hey.
Hey. Hi, y'all.
Hi.
Let me see. Do I have a camera working here? Oh, no.
As long as we can hear you, I think it's okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to turn my video, but yeah, really, you don't need to see me. I'm at the focus today. It's really getting you all
We
informed
always need
about
to
the
see you,
pit.
Daniel.
You can see me now?
No, I said we always need to see you, Daniel.
Oh. And not on a bad hair day. So.
What'd I just say? You got great hair.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and let me see if I can share my screen and overcome that, and then I can just get us started. I can raise my hand, I can lower it. Looks like promotion. Maybe I need a promotion.
If you want, Daniel, I can share the slides.
Okay, let me share that with you then. We'll see.
Beautiful.
We were just talking about the praises of the point in time count and how the process has been developed and
expanded
and built friendships and built relationships and all sorts of fun praises. And so we're so glad you're here, Daniel.
Yeah, this is really good. You know, and I really want to thank Dorsal and Christina for and Ruby, you know, you as well, that you guys needed more, you know, that you understand it. You're all smart professionals. And you know, my goal today is to bring you all along in this and then answer some of your questions. And I'm willing to go as detailed as we need, but I'd actually like to kind of keep it tailored to this group and kind of where we need your support the most after you ask questions and understand kind of what we're doing. So I'll give you a status update. Ewan's going to join in and speak a little bit about that.
Hey, do you see the screen?
I do. That's great.
Does everybody see the screen? Okay.
How's audio? You guys can hear me okay? Any issues there?
Can hear you just fine.
Okay, great. Go ahead and go on to the next slide. So I'll start just, just a moment of gratitude and thank you all with such a busy agenda and so many things going on in your world that you're able to take some time to want to engage and understand this more deeply. This is the agenda I have for you today. We'll go through each one of these, but rather than you thinking of this as this is a piggy bank session where I'm putting information into your piggy bank, I really want this to be more of a dialogue. So think of these slides as prompts, really. They're prompts for you to spur ideas, for you to inspect the process so that my goal is that you walk away really understanding the methodology at the level that you need to. We're not scientists here, and I'll go into that. But we'll look at the survey locations. I'm going to show you the timeline. Talk a little bit about method. I know for some of you, this is old hat. Talk about the hub sites, your role, where you're really, where I think your work really shines here. And then I'm going to give you some ways for you to learn even more, depending on where you want to take today after the presentation. Let's go ahead and jump into the next slide. And it looks like, wow, we've got so many items, they don't fit on the screen, at least not mine. At least not mine. The important thing here is that we have a schedule, we have a work plan, and we are in execution mode at this point. So you'll see on that January month there, we're at the point where we are confirming all of our outreach teams. We've got all of our hub sites getting locked in with MOUs, and we have our survey finalized, and we're working with our partners at University of Washington on the technology. So that's all streamlined, and I'll go into all of that. But really here, I want to just share with you and thank you as well again that we have a PIT work group. Because of that, we really have put in a lot of work and drawn some information from that. And I see that day in and day out with the work that we're doing, that the input that you have given has driven improvements and has also driven us to articulate more clearly what we're doing. So building that transparency for you all. I will say one thing I do want to point out for you. The PIT is January 29th. So that's the official date of the PIT. But our survey, our data collection goes from the 26th to February 6th. And then one other piece is if severe weather is activated, and we'll know by January 16th, that could have some impacts on the point in time count date. We're following that closely. And I'm not in the best position to talk about the contingency plan. That's really Janelle and Thea working on that. But they do have a plan. But we have it on here. I have it on here so that you know that we're kind of trying to cut all the angles here because we really want this to be successful. So we're thinking about plan A, plan B. Next slide, please. So we have more sites than we did last year. Depending on the week, we have active at any given time 23 sites happening throughout King County. Now you'll notice on here that we have spread out our hubs and we've integrated our mobile hub, which is in response to feedback that we got that we wanted to have more reach throughout the entire county, including our rural areas and our wonderful, beautiful island of Vashon. What I'm not able to share specifically today are those exact locations. We're keeping those private until we actually launch and have seeders and the hubs active. And the reason is pretty simple. We got feedback from some of the sites, including some of the community libraries, that they want to keep that information close to the vest. They don't want to bring undue attention. And with sort of what we're seeing at a national level with different law enforcement activities, we just want to create a real safety, a real atmosphere of safety. So this is right now, if you worked at a site, you'll probably know where a couple of these are from the previous year, but we're not advertising them loudly right now until we need to, until the teams that are going to be doing the work, they'll all have that information by the time we launch. Questions about this in particular?
I have a quick question. My name is Ruby, and I had a question for Daniel about do we still have a call-in line? There was a family call-in line. Are we, is that still a thing? I'm just making sure that that's still a thing.
Yes, we do still have a family call-in line, and that's still with Mary's Place.
Awesome. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yes, we do.
Dorsal has his hand as well.
Yeah, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, Daniel, but I believe that there's like instructions that'll be given to the sites in relation to how to handle situations potentially with enforcement officers. But just being the social media addict that I have been for the last couple of days with Minnesota, and noticing more of like the YouTube journalists, shall we say. So I was curious, will there also be kind of guidance for the hubs on how to deal with someone who's showing up to the hub that's not in an official capacity, but is potentially causing problems?
Yeah, and Dorsal, I think many of us, share that same concern. Is everyone going to be prepared to address what might come up then while at the hub site? And yes, we have a hub manual that goes into detail, it is an instruction manual on what our hub leads ought to do in response to certain scenarios. We also are working closely with our communications team so that we have those kind of directions. YouTubers, media, this, Dorsal, people are like to get engaged during this time of year. The news sometimes likes to cover these things, and they like to be on location. And we are not actively working with media to coordinate that. We actually would prefer to be as quiet as possible, but we do have those plans in place. And really, the bottom line is we're not engaging with media. We're not having our hub leads engage in media. And the first thing that they do if that happens is to contact the regional coordinator. And so there are we've broken this up into sub-regions like we did previously. And coordinators made up of cable leads should that happen, and any other numerous scenarios that you can think of.
Thank you.
Next slide.
Go ahead. Daniel, this is Zsa Zsa. This is Zsa Zsa. So we will have like people working in the hub, like leads or whatever, would have identifiable vest, a lanyard, whatever, kind of designating, and of course would only be there from experience to do the work. And don't pay attention to what's going on outside. Let the place where we're at deal with their building and things that happen around it, and focus on what we're there for. Am I correct?
Yeah, you are correct. And thank you for calling attention to that. The role of our hub leads and of our surveyors is to do the work and not to be promoting anything about the pit itself. This is a research project.
Excited.
Yeah, thanks for that clarification on those. I don't see any more questions.
Yeah, let's move on. And I have a slide showing our org chart, if you will, of operations here in a little bit. So one of the things, and I want to thank Christina Sawicki for this. brought to my attention just some fundamental questions about this new methodology. And I'm sure you all can read the slide. I wanted just to convey to this group, to the COC advisory board, to all of you members out there, that we have a long history of doing the count in this area by hand and sending out volunteers, and there is a personal touch with engaging folks on the streets. And there's trade-offs. There were trade-offs to that. Observational counts are allowed by HUD, so there's room for error and looking at someone and thinking, they look homeless. Safety is a little bit concerned in this area, so I'm going to give them a count, and I'm not going to be able to collect demographics, but that's okay. At least we counted somebody. So there was always some trade-offs with doing an out in the field, send a group one night doing that count. What I want to share with you is that there were some drawbacks to that. With our new methodology and the new counts that we have, we know that we were missing thousands in our estimate. We've got critical feedback from lots of stakeholders that that count really is challenged to get folks who are hidden, who may not want to engage unless there's some atmosphere of trust. And for those in the rural areas and in vehicles, it'd be hard to find. And then for you all to use that data for planning, we want to bring you information that you're confident in. And so what I'm saying with this slide is not that the old method was bad, but that we have better tools. And we're partnering with a top tier research university that has designed this methodology. 3 years running, it's been approved by HUD now. And each year we are finding ways to make those improvements. And yes, it is sometimes harder to be in the lead than to wait and watch other people do it. But with the team that we have, the input from this group, and those that we're engaging on the PIT work group, as well as our notes from previous years that we're drawing on, I feel really good that we're refining this each and every year. But I do want to give you a background on why we changed the count, and it's because we have better tools now. And I'll pause here. And do you feel comfortable with this? I know you are all representative of the communities that you serve. What are you hearing? What is the sentiment around this? How can I'm here today to try to help you understand, and we can still just agree on many parts of this. But the methodology, I really want you to understand that it has it's rooted in scientific rigor.
Daniel, I just want to say that I was apprehensive about the methodology when we first started in 2022, was it? But now with the expansion of people, street mobile, phone calling, and then the additional hub sites, I feel like has covered all those missing parts. That, I think we got a good infrastructure now to work with. So I feel like the methodology, the way we do it will work because it reaches more people with all the new innovative things you've added to do the count. That's what I guess I'm trying to say. Thank you. I don't think you can improve it right now, right? Because unless you want to add more hubs, right? But other than that, you already have 26 or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, thank you for that. I'm also open, to hearing, criticism on that too, because there are things that we learn each time we do this. And one of them, I'll give you an example of where we're advancing forward on this. We're taking a subpopulation approach with our initial seeding, and I have a whole slide dedicated to seeding, so I'll catch everyone up on that. This is really how we kick off the count, where we engage the very first individual who's unsheltered, who will then be our touch point to the next person, and then the next person as we measure that network chain. We're focused on subpopulations. So our seeders, as we call them, these are the outreach teams with the coupons that are being given out. We focused on recruiting those who work with specific subpopulations. For example, our Coalition for Ending Gender-Based Violence, working with Hannah, working this week, in fact, to secure what that's going to look like for those who work specifically with those in vehicles and who are in that chronic homeless category, youth and young adults. So we're trying to be even more targeted in the initial seeding, which then creates the waves of estimates. So an example of one area where we were, not as refined, and today we are trying to be even more precise in how we do that seeding. Does that spur any questions? Any thoughts on that particular point? Anything else, Zsa Zsa, or anyone else?
Well, I was just gonna say, on the map, did I see North King County up there? Are we going there? Is it?
Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure I,
Shoreline and stuff.
yeah, okay, thank you.
Yeah, we have two hubs up there.
And as far as criticism, I don't really feel like I could give any until we do this initial. You know,
Yeah,
we implement what we have, right?
Yeah.
Cause it seems like we're trying to reach you've thought out everything, right? And so now we're just waiting to implement it and see what we get.
Yeah, it seems like this is Ruby, by the way. It seems like the elements that we're adding each iteration seem to be beneficial in getting more people counted, which is a national conversation now that the point in time count is an undercount. And so, seeing that on national discussions. Anyway, let's Dorsal.
You've heard this from me before, Daniel.
Yeah.
So I'll say it just very quickly.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. I still would love the idea of essentially being able to expand the call-in to single adults. I understand there's challenges and difficulties with that, but I would love to see that in a future version as far as if you're wanting feedback in this particular moment.
Yeah, call in for single adults.
Yeah.
So I will bring that up to our team, or basically our science team, which is made up of our research and evaluator Thea, Dr. Thomas, and Janelle. So I will make sure to bring that forward in Dorsal, whether it's a yes or no. What I can promise is to get you an explanation.
All right, let's keep it moving. We got 3:39 on the clock, so. Thank you, Daniel. Appreciate it.
Yeah. So I want to go to the next slide, but really quickly on this slide, this is pretty much the methodology distilled down to its essential components. We've got the seeding, we've got the coupons or referrals. Either wording works, and then from there the network grows, and then we use the respondents that we get for the unsheltered, and then we take those that are in shelters, transitional housing, and safe havens. We take that number, and then that gets factored in by there's a formula I could get you the name afterwards, and then that builds out the total estimate, and that's done by our partners at the University of Washington. So the data scientists over there are doing that for us, and the population scientists. Next slide. This is where I really need your help at the COC. Oftentimes I get questions about, even during the count, I know someone who's homeless, which hub do I send them to? And where I need support is being able to say, yes, send them to this hub, and send them to the hub with a coupon. That's how they're going to get counted. So it's really go to a hub and they must have a coupon in their hands. And your natural next question, and for those who might be listening on, is how do you get the coupon? The coupon is received by someone that they know that has received a coupon. So let's imagine you show up, or you're leaving a meal site, and one of our outreach leaders comes up to you, and it's a group of people, and they're like, "Hey, we're a household. We're all hanging out together." They'll give one person a coupon, and they'll say, "Go to this hub." And when they go to the hub, they turn in the coupon, do the survey. They'll get 3 more coupons, and they can turn around and give those to the folks who who are part of their household. Let's say single adults in this scenario, and then that person would get 3 more, and then person C would get 3. And so that's how we really grow the network chain, and that's really important for the estimate building. So it's not. So I guess what I really want to impress upon the myth here is it's not just go to the hub, it's go to the hub with a coupon. I'll pause here. What questions here on this one?
I don't have any current questions, just love the depiction there in the corner. I'm wondering if that means that we're gonna have a great season at Point in Time Camp this year. Thank you for including that, it made my day.
Oh my goodness. That's I'm gonna have to thank my colleague Ewan for that one. Yes. This is brilliant actually, because I'm not a sports person, so I'm sure that they put this in here for a reminder for me. Think of it as the coupons. The coupons are the pitch, and the hubs are the mitts, the catcher's mitt.
Okay,
We're cap.
that's cool.
That means that you and I were cap. All right, cool.
Yeah. Next slide, and I'll go a little bit more into this. I won't linger too much on this one, but just for awareness here, the methodology hasn't changed. We still start with our outreach teams, who are the seeders, and about a week before it's kind of up to the outreach team on what works best with their schedule. But we want to do this no more than a week out from the actual start of the data collection, so the 26th. So the week leading up to it, our outreach leaders will go out, they'll fan out in all those different areas and regions and subpopulations that we're aware of, and they'll start handing out coupons, and they'll direct that person to go to the hub to receive their $20 gift card to do the survey. Well, they'll get 3 more coupons, and each one of those coupons result in a survey. That person could get up to $35 for participating in this. And the captain's mitt here is they have to go to that hub site. Well, they'll get surveyed and get more coupons, and then build new recruits for the next wave of respondents. Next slide. I just thought this was a really good visual to explain how those waves work, and I think you've all seen this before. And then if we get to the next slide here, if you don't mind, Kelsey. Oh, looks like maybe it didn't make it into this one. That's okay. Is Ewan in the space? Did Ewan make it onto the call?
No.
I do see Elizabeth's hand though, if you need a second.
No, I was gonna hand this one over to you, and I think they had some points that they really wanted to make here, but I'll take a question.
Yes, the question is, if someone has a coupon and discovers that they can't make it to a hub site, can they pass that coupon to someone else?
I don't have an answer for that, so let me put it on my list.
Thank you.
Great question, Elizabeth.
Something happens, people don't have transport, or they're in the hospital or something, but we want to make sure that those coupons get used.
Yeah, and now I'm sure, Dorsal, your ears are kind of perking now, because you're like, this would be a case for a call-in line.
Well,
yeah, well, wait.
Daniel, can I just say, it kind of seems like we want to count people. And if I have a coupon and something happens that I can't use it, why wouldn't I pass it on to someone
Yeah.
else? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I mean, because it's the network of my saying, the person who gave it to me, is probably someone in my network I know can use it and has the ability to go.
Yeah.
So to
That
me,
that
it's like a
sounds
no-brainer.
reasonable. I mean, on its face, it sounds very reasonable and logical. I just want to check with the scientist on this one.
Oh,
If
I see.
and then get back to you. Yeah, and if we could get to the next slide, hopefully it made it onto this final deck. Yeah, kind of that last bullet point is that really what we try to do on our team and is really not improvise, but really bring it back, these questions to the design team so that we know we're not inadvertently confusing or disrupting the methodology in some way. So I think at face value, the question, you just give it to someone else who's experiencing unsheltered homelessness. It seems rational, reasonable to say yes. Also, does the yes mean that they have to tell the person, tell them that you got this from me? You know, like I would have to get some details around it. What are the fuller instructions if one were to pass? And that's why it's really helpful if you do have questions, if people in the field do have questions, we have the hub leads and the regional coordinators who will elevate those questions in real time. We've got our communication structure so that we're using an incident command approach, which is really efficient at getting communication in and out quickly. So that's how we're going to deal with questions in real time. This one I can write down and get an answer for you early, which is great. And for others. And this slide, I do want to simmer on it for a second. This is really where you all hold the power as board members, is helping others to understand that seeding and referral network, because it's not always intuitive to people who have done, especially those who have done the count in previous years that weren't using this method. And if you could help people say, yes, you can go to a hub and you need a coupon. Let's, figure out how to get that coupon. That's really the answer to, do I just go and be counted at a hub? It's yes, and with a coupon. And that's the kind of second part that needs to get solved before you send somebody. And then just, if you can reinforce that I think there is an improved piece of dignity here. We're not just going out into people's personal spaces. We talk about volunteer safety, but others might not feel safe. People seeing where they are finding their, hidey hole or their space that they're in, or, wherever they're calling their spot at the moment. So I think there's some dignity involved. Also, not just looking at someone making an observational case that they look homeless. And then, let's just try to lead by being humble that there are some things that we don't know, but let's ask questions so that we can find those answers. And that's really what my goal is today, is to make you all feel like you can do this work on behalf of what we're doing.
And speaking of questions, we got Zsa Zsa has a question here.
Yeah, please.
Daniel, language barriers, is that going to be provided, like some kind of way to have, communication?
Yes. So we will continue again this year to have a call-in interpreter over the mobile device that will be used, the iPad. We're going to be able, all of them are going to have downloaded with it the app so they can bring up an interpreter in real time. And that includes sign language and a variety of, there's hundreds of languages that they have available. So it worked really well last year. We didn't get anybody that had any complaints or issues with it. So we're going with the same company, and I think we'll have the same success.
And this is Zsa Zsa again. My next question is accessibility. About the hubs. So what, that'll be your question. If someone shows up at a site, it's not accessible to them. What do you do? Right?
Do you have a specific scenario?
Yeah, I mean, just saying, like the scenario, would you go out and meet them where they're at?
Yeah. Like, do we go
I'm
pick them
gonna-
up?
Well, I mean, cause if they can't get in,
Mhm.
you
Are
know,
we
meet
inside?
people, yeah, inside. Then would you go, just meet them where they're at,
Mhm.
right? I mean,
I-
cause then
yeah.
you'd be outside.
If
in a
they're in
private space.
proximity to the site, like they're just outside the door, I don't see any reason why we couldn't accommodate doing something like that if they were more comfortable. Sending a volunteer like
Send them away.
a few blocks away is probably a boundary
No.
we won't recommend crossing.
Yeah.
Because we want to be vigilant of that we
No,
everyone
I was
goes
thinking-
out in the field comes back kind of thing.
No, I was thinking more like you're at a building and there's a parking lot, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Not down the street, around the corner. Right? Right.
Yeah, I think
Just common
that's a good,
sense kind of thing.
that's a common sense thing, and we have a meeting with the hub leads, and I'm gonna bring that up and see where people are with that question, and I'm comfortable allowing hub leads to make that call. I'm a big fan of a buddy system, so if it's one person doing a survey, how about let's get two people out there doing it if they're not doing it
Yeah.
within the like approved area. But I think
Yeah.
I think to your bigger point, accessibility, we need that. That's how we do this. That's how we have to have that to pull this off. So I think some flexibility in there that we'll leave up to hub leads. I think we can give them a little bit of flexibility on that.
Thank you. Okay. I
Next,
need to have to see somebody.
next slide.
Where you can go.
So I just- This is the RDS methodology college course here. If you'd like, you can watch our volunteer training. That's about an hour and a half. You'll learn a lot of details through that. If you go back and read the 2024 Unsheltered Pit Report, that would give you a real good grounding on what we're doing this year and all the different areas we're going to report on. And we talk about all the details of the hub site. Most of that's pretty up to date. And continue to ask for updates from your COC pit work group. I think the more life you breathe into that work group, the more they're going to be able to give you. So, hold them accountable to what makes sense and appropriate. Ask them for updates. Get those updates. If you I talked to Sophia about this and Janelle. It's an open invitation for all of you all to volunteer. Some of you, I think, are already on there. I won't name names, but I know some of you are already planning on doing that. But why not everyone on the board who can? So please do consider that. And then once we have the final results, attend those presentations, and then we have a volunteer portal, and you can always ask us questions anytime. And then the last slide, I think that's pretty much it. I think I might have a org chart for you, so you can see how we're going to be running these.
It's beautiful.
What does the yellow one say? I
It
can't
says
see.
travel surveyor,
Okay,
and then the other one says supply runner.
okay,
That's the yellow boxes, yeah.
yeah. I don't have my glasses on.
Do you want to read those out just for people?
Yeah, so this is taking from that incident command framework where we do have someone who's coordinating. So we have our regional coordinator, and those go through all the different hubs. We have leads at each one are assigned, and then at the hub leads are really focused on ensuring that things are working smoothly. They're gathering information, questions, troubleshooting. They're keeping track of our surveys and our incentives. So those gift cards. They're the only ones who have access to that. Those are the sub leads. And then from there, you have the surveyors, the people who are engaging folks who are coming. And then we have the mobile surveyors who are in the mobile van. And then we have a team doing the phone line at St. Mary's. And then our seaters, obviously, are our outreach team. And then for administration, we have our volunteer manager. That's going to be Thea and Ewan. They're going to be working to staff up. This is like running, 25 McDonald's for 2 weeks. So they're going to be looking at shift changes and making sure we're having coverage. And then we have our UW team that's going to be helping with the technology piece. So they're going to be helping me troubleshoot if there's any coupon questions, there's any printer questions, things like that. We're going to have someone on staff for that. And then throughout that, someone keeping tabs on what supplies we need, and the regional coordinators communicating that with the administrative group each and every evening, so we're prepared in the mornings.
Thank you for doing that.
Yeah, of course. And then the last slide, I just wanted to show one other cool visual. I think you've probably seen it before. Oh no, it didn't make it on this one. That's okay. It was the network chains. I was going to show you that we had a network chain last year of 19. That means one person started a reaction of 19 different homeless individuals that they were connected with. And that's not something to celebrate, but very just a highlight to how well the methodology can draw out those estimates.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great.
Any other questions? Any myths or things that you keep hearing that you haven't been able to answer, or something that's come up recently, and any feedback you've gotten from maybe like constituents that they may not be able to like and come into our spaces very regularly that you want to bring forward?
I don't know if I have any questions or anything to add other than just, something to think about in the future. One dream I've had is a kiosk, somewhere that's stationary that people could check in to. And either, like various things could come of that. I'm sure you could envision how that would be useful, but maybe that's something we could talk about in the future of how that could be correlated in the point in time count, if it's a possibility. And, just really thank you for this presentation. It's always good to stay up to date on this, and just, really trying to get our number more accurate is going to be very helpful to know what kind of service provisions need to be done. And, yeah.
Yeah, and I thank you, Ruby. And I will tell you, with each and every one of the scientists that I get to work with, they're not aiming for a number. They're aiming to have a good method that then produces a complete and accurate number. That's their goal.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, so you're saying, you're saying that they're not trying to get like,
all this work and this process work is very valuable. So your input is hugely valuable. It is about the process and the method. That's what matters. Then we can trust the estimates afterwards.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
great. Patricia?
Awesome. Thank you for sharing the presentation. 2 questions. One, on the resources to look at the training, and will that be located on the KCR King County website?
Yeah, if that's most convenient. I plan to work with you, Catherine, to get the links to those in the resource page. And I send those to you. And Patricia, if you need it on the website, I'm sure Catherine can accommodate.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, this will be my first time I've heard about the pit and different with other agencies, but I really like this presentation. It helped me to understand more this new system. Yeah. So,
Great.
And I'm thinking about possibly getting involved this year. So that would be helpful for me to
So happy to hear that.
look at the
Thank you.
training. And the second question real quickly is related to, can you hear me okay? Someone asked a question for the ticket. When you're handing out the person a ticket, right? Do you document that ticket?
Mm-hmm.
Does that ticket belong to that person?
Yeah, so anonymously, yes.
Track
So
it.
we do track that ticket anonymously. So we'll never know who the person was. Actually, we won't be asking them for their personal identifying information. And that's because the method is for hard to reach population. This is used by the World Health Organization to measure estimates of those living with HIV or other drug substance use users who may not want to share their personal info. So this is designed exactly to get to those populations. So it's anonymous. And then we track those coupons to get those network chains digitally. So nothing is manual. It's all scanned in. The numbers are recorded digitally. So that's a good enhancement. We're not doing it by pencil and paper.
Okay, the reason I asked that is because I heard Elizabeth ask the question, and if they weren't able to make it, then, and if they gave it to someone else, I think I heard you say that, yes, they could do it, or you didn't answer quite confirming. But if they did give it to someone else, they would have to say that person's name or something. Could you clarify that piece?
Yeah, and you're a very astute observation there. I was a little squirrely, cagey, and non-committal in my answer. I'm gonna take that back to the team, and we're gonna check to see how do we want to handle it.
Great.
So that's
Okay.
a really good question, and then I'm gonna come back and I'll get you all an answer.
Okay.
So it is 4:01. If there's any additional questions, go ahead and forward them to me or Dorsal or Catherine or Daniel, and we can get your questions answered as soon as possible. Thanks again for this meeting today. It's been a really great meeting. Look forward to the next year working with all of you, and have enjoyed 2025, but good riddance.
Ruby,
Let's get 2026.
Motion to adjourn.
If I could, just before adjournment, there is one thing I wanted to, I've been kind of waiting to say to everybody, which is that, yes, we have this method. Yes, we're doing the count. We have all these volunteers. The operation is a huge operation in King County. It's going to cover the entire city. But really, I want to leave you all with remembering that the reason for this is to take the stories from the people in our community and make sure that we're amplifying those so people know what's going on, especially in a time where information is not as accessible or is not as trusted or not reliable. What we're trying to do for the COC, for the region, is to make sure that these stories get told and that we can do something about it.
Wow.
Great.
That is beautiful.
That's a really great statement, Daniel. Appreciate it. Next board meeting is going to be on Wednesday, the 4th of February from 2 to 4 p.m. Same place, same time. And see you all next month.
Thank you, Ruby.
Thank you all.
Thank you all.
Thank you all.
Thanks, everyone.
Awesome meeting.
Take care.
Happy New Year.
New
Yeah,
Year.
thanks for coming, Devin. Bye.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ruby. Thanks, everyone.
Awesome.
All right.